we are on about metal benders. And the reason why we're on metal benders is because I need to do some metal bending on those windscreens, on that windscreen up there. So I've got my iPad. I've got no internet access here, or if I had, it'd be rubbish anyway. So I've taken liberty of taking some pictures on YouTube, of course. YouTube is a brilliant thing when you need to know things. I've never made one of these metal benders before. That is what I'm going to be doing now. I've spent, I would say, around £65 on some metal and screws and bolts, washers, etc. If I was to buy a metal bender, then it would be in excess of 150 UK pounds for the size that I'm going to make, which happens to be about 80 centimetres. And in old money, 80 centimetres is 31.5 inches to our friends in America. So, what have I got to do? Well, first of all, I bought the angles times 2. One is going to go on a 2x4 piece of wood because I want it flexible enough to be able to move and store and put out of the way. So I've watched a gentleman on YouTube, and his channel is, and it's very good. Well, it must be good because he's got 3.22 million subscribers. I wish, John. I really
We'll get there.
We will one day when we're about 42.
Next year?
Yeah, next year. So yeah, going back to his channel, it is I like to make stuff, and boy does he make some stuff as well. And I am using his method and ideas to make this one. And he uses a piece of 4x2, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to put one of those on there like so, and then of course we need some hinges. I'll talk about the hinges in a minute because we can't just use a standard hinge at this stage. We have to just manipulate it a bit. And then of course we're going to put this here, and you can get the idea. That is the method of bending whatever you want to bend. So this is the cheapest option, and as I said, when we came back to doing these YouTube videos, you know, the cost of doing this exercise, we have to watch the pounds, and this is exactly what I am doing. And I'm interested, and I obviously want to learn how to do it. How hard can it be, as the channel suggests? So, should we get on with it? I think so. Okay, we're at the vise. Standard hinge, stainless steel. Not expensive. I think it was about, I don't know, 12 or 13 pounds for a set of 3. Obviously they're for doors. As you can see, standard hinge there. You got your flat side running parallel there.
Zooming in.
Zooming in. Yeah, got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is basically we're going to swap one of these edges, and we're going to flip it over. The reason for that is, of course, when you get it, when you bolt one of the angles to it, by the time you've bent it over, it's got to be flush. And of course, that's the effect you would get at this moment in time. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a hinge that looks like that.
That got it.
That got it. Right. So, all I need to do is, that's like that, turn it around and put it back, and use the edge, use the one that has been filed, and drive that home. There we go. Right. So, That's what we're trying to achieve. 2 like so. Right. I'll go and get the angle and I shall cut that down because that's what we need to do next. I've decided to do it here. I've clamped it to my bench that I made millennium time years ago, and it seems to be quite rigid, and I bought a new tool to do the job.
Another tool.
Another tool to match the tool that's using it.
There we go.
This could be a while. Might need to speed this up at one point. I'd go and make a coffee if I were you. Or something to eat.
At least I'm warming up. It's freezing in here. I'm halfway through. It's not going straight. Does it matter on that bit? Don't think it does. No, it doesn't.
Right.
Your iPad back before you lose it.
Oh yeah. Right, that's one cut. I'll cut the other, but of course you don't need to see that. Right, goggles. It can only mean one thing. I either am going to be successful and professional looking doing this bit, or I'm going to burn the place down. Here we go. Angle grinder, or a grinder of sorts. I'm going to be chopping out a section out of here and out of here, so then the hinge, the knobbly bit in the middle, what's it called? The hinge bit, the actual hinge can fit snugly in there, so when it bends up, it neatly comes together. That's the theory. Wish me luck.
Going in.
Checking for fire. Are you checking over there while
Yes,
I'm...
I am.
Good lad. Oh, this is all
It's
fun.
smouldering.
Well, I'm going through it. It's not pretty, but it's working. Ready?
When you are.
Right, so what I've done is I've cut 2 slots in this angle plate here. As you can see, it doesn't have to be pretty because at the end of the day it's going to get sprayed, etc. I've also married up the hinges and extended the hinge holes as well to a 10mm bolt. Sorry, an 8mm bolt. It's going down here like so, and this has to be flush, as you remember. So this now fits over there, and that will get bolted to that like so, because obviously this is not going to be there, that's just supporting it for now. So then that goes like that. Then of course we cut our handles sort of somewhere around here, and then that enables it to do whatever that does. This bit, this is the piece that traps the aluminium. So when you've got your aluminium and this is the piece you want to bend, that traps the aluminium to stop it from moving. So this has to be on a 10mm bolt going through the wood, like so, in order to just hold it down, and then you use a butterfly thread there to tighten it down, and then that traps that aluminium. So that then goes through there. As I said, not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. That goes through there. I've yet to drill a 10mm hole through there, and I've started drilling a 10mm hole through there. Well, I'm up to about a 6 at the moment with that one. But you can get the idea. Sorry, that has to go that way. But you get the idea. That's how it's going to go with washers on that side. Then you can screw it down and trap your piece of work that you're going to bend. So that's where I'm up to. So I shall carry on drilling through what seems to be extremely tough material. Drilled the final 2 holes in this steel. Definitely get yourself some quality bits. HSS. I used size 8s and 10s on this project. You can use whatever you choose to use, or whatever you've got in your workshop or whatever. So this is now temporarily been bolted together. I've just finger tightened them. So now you can see we're getting to the point where things are looking good. That's the most crucial part, is having that absolutely flush, because when you pivot it, it's got to remain tight to its next piece there in order to get a clean bend on the metal. So I've looked and researched. So I've put some washers in here because there was a slight difference. I mean, there is at the moment. There's a bit of play in it because I haven't tightened these up yet. But once they are tight, that will be lovely and flat. So what I've got to do now is, that has obviously been drilled, so that is your section what keeps your piece of metal firmly in place, ready for bending. Then you've got your washers, like so, and then you've got your butterflies that go on there. That secures your piece. That goes on there. Like so. Okie dokie. Right. So, what have I got to do? Yes, I know. So, bit of square tubing, decent thickness, because obviously I'm going to be using, alright, I'm only going to be using aluminium on my project. I might even be using 1, 2, 3 mil thick sheet metal, I don't know, but for what I need it for at this moment in time, that's all I'm going to be bending is aluminium. So I had these bolts lying around. In fact, I didn't have them lying around. I've pinched them from the windscreen. But don't panic, the windscreen will be done. That I'll use that way. So all I do is bolt that to that, like so. Move that up. That's that. Right, so all I really got to do is nip these babies up. Now you can do what I've done, and that is, you know, that, as I said, that's got to be absolutely flush, and I've just used some washers just to level it off. I'm going to paint it as well. I'm going to make it look like a nice new tool, actually. I actually thought that was a good idea. Somebody I watched, because you can unclick it, you can put it anywhere you want actually. You can put it out of the way and it seems to be pretty firm. So,
Maiden voice?
Yes, what do you think? Now, I have noticed one thing that isn't satisfactory, and these washers that I'm using here are too big. So I'm going to have to use smaller ones because they do interfere. They do interfere with the overall bend that I need. Okay, so I've nipped these bolts up, so that's now nice and sturdy. I've nipped these two up and they seem to act quite nicely as well. That's got a nice motion to it. I can get at least 90 degrees. I can get actually a little bit more with that. So basically there was two options actually. I could have used the washers like so, but that actually interfered. So I've decided against the washer scenario and I've used a bolt instead. I might just adjust it. I might file this angle down a little bit more so then that fits snugly. But for now, we're going to test it and see if it actually works. So I'm going to just make sure I've got the right one there. So, bit of metal. That'll do. Because at the end of the day, 90% of the work I'm going to be using, and to be honest, I'm only doing this because I need a certain angle for that windscreen up there. So anyway, there we go. So I need that. So let's see how this works. Now you're supposed to put that through there, like so, and then decide what you want to bend. At the moment, I'm not bothered. I just want to know whether it'll bend. So that angle is designed to hold your piece of work down. So we'll just give that a tweak, like so. Right, bend away. And then you just choose whatever angle you want. So if I want that angle, that's brilliant. I can move it a bit more. And I can take it up to 90 degrees. Just like that. So, 2 days of drilling and messing around. Has it been worth it? Has it been hard? Drilling has. But other than that, I'm delighted. So, yeah, I think it was well worth 2 days worth of effort. I hope you've not been too bored. I know it's not been involving a boat, but at the end of the day, the next bit that you will see, it will involve the boat because I need to do a bit of bending for that windscreen. So there we go. For once, I've not had to purchase anything for this little exercise. And then you just simply take that out. And then you have your bent metal. So, cool. I'm happy with that. I shall paint it up, make it look like I've bought it, and that's it. So, we can get moving and get cracking, putting some stuff on that windscreen. And as you'll see very shortly, I've done quite a bit of work with that now. It's structurally all sound. So, we'll go back up on top deck, shall we? Come on.